What is up, YouTube world? I'm Ashley D. Before I get started, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Also, feel free to share this brief video as well. Everything I state is allegedly not a guaranteed fact, my own personal opinion and observation. So, good morning to each and every one of you out there. This was a breaking news story. I felt as though it's necessary to share this with you guys. I'm going to be speaking on Cristiana Rock and Blueface briefly. They seem to gotten back together. Cristiana Rock met Blueface through Blueface Club. That was a little show he was doing with females auditioning, mostly just fighting. But they've been in the spotlight a little bit over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to use this word and explain the definition to everyone, because this seems to be the problem and the issue with these two, as well as other people out there. These two, to me, are trauma bonding themselves to one another. And trauma bonding is with it is when two people go through a very traumatic experience and they attach themselves to each other because A, they might have had that same experience or something similar in common, or B, something traumatic, it didn't even have to be in common, but they both experienced it and they both attach themselves to one another for support, comfort. And most of the time when people trauma bond, it never ends well. Now, trauma bond. A trauma bond may be difficult to spot. Because it involves a cycle of abuse and positive reinforcement, sometimes called love bombing. Now, he's love bombed on her, and he's love bombed on his first child's mother, which he was with her since high school. And he goes back and forth between her and Cristiana Rock. It's a never-ending cycle. He's actually supposed to be with her now at this moment. Common signs that someone is stuck in a trauma bond includes dependency on the abuser, defensiveness or making excuses to others for an abuser. Now, that was loud and clear. Okay? Defensiveness or making excuses for the abuser. Now, throughout this whole relationship, she has done nothing but made excuses for him and pedaled back and forth. When he was not there in the beginning, she said she understood. She just came in his life. He's already had this relationship that was made with his children's mother. They've been together since high school. They've been on and off, and she respects that. No, she does not want a three-way, but she wants him whenever he's convenient for her. So in the beginning, she was willing to accept that, because as long as she was with him and they had business going on, where at this time she was trying to promote being a rapper and he became her manager. Now, Blueface has never managed anyone at this time, but she put her career in his hands because he's already had a career. And to be quite honest with you, behind the scenes, Blueface has done a lot of things to A, keep himself relevant, because he types crazy things or he's doing things to get attention on the camera so it can go viral. Or B, he's had a restaurant before. He's that so many different little Avengers offline that he's put in motion to make money. Now, she allowed him to take control of her career and also take control of her money and the flow of it and who it went to when it came in. And one time, I'll never forget, when they were in a cab together and they got in a big altercation. And I'll say Uber, I always say cab, so excuse me if I say that here and there. But her face was bleeding, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, her nose was bloody. And it was pretty bad. And she just went off and she said how she felt on the camera. And she also said he put his hands on her. Now, mind you, every time we've seen Cristiana when she was with Blueface, like I said, he does things to go viral and stay relevant. So this man seems like he was A, encouraging her or his other baby mom to drink. He would take them out somewhere and he would encourage them to keep drinking while he was sober. And to be quite honest with you, to me, that was a devilish move, okay? You're with your partner, you're hanging out, or you're clubbing, or he was with his children's mother. They were at the casino, And she was belligerent. She was all over the place. And slurred as well. Now, he did this to Cristiana. And he would not drink. That's the crazy thing about this whole situation, that I didn't understand why these girls didn't wake up. I don't know if he told them, I'm not drinking tonight. I want to be the sober person so I can get us where we need to go. But he would literally encourage them to drink on camera so they can act the fool, because he knew they would do that. Neither her nor his baby mom could hold their liquor. When they are drunk, they are over the top or they're doing something outrageous. From Cristiana throwing up in the car, he's sticking the camera dead in her face, her falling out where he has to carry her in the hotel room on the luggage carrier. We've seen that from Cristiana so much, as well as her putting her hands on him. Those are the incidents that we've seen that were always reported to us. We've never really seen him too much fighting back. All we've seen him do is encouraging toxic behavior from both of these ladies. Now, she winds up pregnant, okay? And what was funny to me once, that these two girls were at the airport and they spotted Cristiana and Blueface. They were holding hands and she was eating on something. And she was fully pregnant. You could see her belly. And he had his hand around her as well. And they said, look, you guys, see, they're not always fighting. See, they're good. And when I looked at Blueface, I could tell he didn't know if he was supposed to be in character at that moment and pretend as though he wasn't with Cristiana or it wasn't a big deal, or he was just busted and he didn't know what to do. But that's the look he had on his face. And you can look up that video for yourself if you want. Cristiana rocking Blueface spotted at the airport. Now, when she began to get further and further along, at first, him and her was back and forth, as well as Jade, and here and there, different other females were in the mix with him, because he did not want to date one female. He called himself a pimp. His first baby mama put up with that, but Cristiana rocked. She fought in battle with that because she wanted to be the only one deep down inside, but she already had agreed with this because she wanted him. So whatever it took, whatever luggage and packages he came with, she was willing to accept that because she loved him that much, or so she think. And that's when that trauma bonding, them two sharing experiences with one another, and they feel that connection. They feel that comfort from one another in the beginning. This person understands me because they've been in something similar to this. We're going to protect one another. I have to be by this person's side because this is a person that understands me the most. Now, she wanted to show her love and devotion to this man so much to where she continued to tattoo and mark her body with not only his picture on her neck, covering her whole neck, but his name all over her, again and again and again. I lost count. And the last interview she did before she was pregnant, she said she was going to get it somewhere else. Now, one, if a person loves you, they would not want you to mark yourselves up like you're their territory, basically. And for him to be okay with that, for him to say, okay, that's cool, and keep encouraging that. And he still would make her his main girlfriend or his only girlfriend. He still was back and forth between different girls here and there, mostly her and his first baby mama. And she was okay with that. She was still getting tattoos. She would still get online when he's over there, even though she agreed to it, crying, being upset, taking drinks. And that's when her career seems as though at one point in time it was spiraling out of control. We were seeing video released from her every other day where she's going out with him, she's drinking. Then we will see something where they've gotten into an altercation in public. They're fighting and someone is recording. They're trying to break it up. She's mostly being physical with him. So everything was put out and presented to us as though she was the aggressor. But since Dave's show came out, this is the second season if I'm not mistaken, when they were having a true moment together in the kitchen. And he said, you need to stop putting your hands on people. You don't supposed to put your hands on anyone. And she responded back and said, I get that from you. But before that, he said, I made you. I did this for you, that for you. That to me is a manipulation tactic, as well as someone trying to control you. Someone trying to reassure and keep drilling in your mind that you would not be here if it wasn't for me. You would not be in this moment. You would not have this show had I not taken you on. Had I not done this for you. And it was sad because when he was doing certain interviews with certain people, one minute he'll say she's his cellmate partner, like they just box it out. Another time he said that he felt like she was a charity case. He knew her background and what she's been through. And when his baby's mother of his children, I wish I could say that, but a lot of people say baby mom, so let me carry on, came to the house on Blueface Club with her other friends. Now, mind you, Cristiana Rock, we've seen several times, the lady can fight, okay, period. She took off running because she was going to get jumped. It wasn't a one-on-one. When she started running, Blueface had a big statue in the living room. She ran into it. It knocked her front tooth out, and she kept going. No matter what, she didn't look back. She kept going. And at that moment, when the girls left and they were bragging about, yeah, we were going to get her this and that, she's a scary cat. For one, who likes to get jumped? Nobody likes to get jumped. Heck, nobody likes to verbally get jumped from people they don't know. So why would they want to get physically jumped? That's not a good feeling, you know. And I put myself in her shoes in that moment because I've been there. I've been jumped by people, and it's not a good feeling. And now, especially, she's just getting on camera, you know, full time. She's just coming to the spotlight. And everything that has been about her, some positive, when they break up, people try to encourage her. Stay away, you got this, you're doing good, you look beautiful. And then she goes on her text rage and she starts continuing to post things. And to me, to be quite honest with you, you know, sometimes when people do experience traumatic things, their psyche, their mind is no longer there. They've either checked out or they go to a happy place and pretend to be someone else to everyone. They present a completely different person to the world. So you think you're meeting this happy, fun, energetic person, when in reality, that's not them at all. They just put that there to protect themselves from this traumatic experience that possibly could play over in their mind. Or that was so bad, they blinked out and they went away and they've never came back. Now, once she was pregnant, they were on and off, back and forth. He did her the worst towards the end of her pregnancy. He went back to the mother of his children, his first love, allegedly. That's still questionable to me. Now, when she delivered the baby and it was time, he was not there. He laughed online. He went on a Twitter rant. Now, mind you, him and Jade are working it out. They're together. They're living in the Blueface house, which she says she'll never live there again. He has to get another home. But as soon as he said it, she was willing to move on in there. Just like a pimp in old fashioned, when he was mad at Krishan, he pushed Jade. He went on interviews with Jade. Now, he's a smart guy. I'm not going to hold you up. He knows how to draw the crowd and the attention. He knows how to get things done behind the scene professionally, even though he presents himself to us like a jerk. This man still has business sappy mind, you know. But once he got into it with Krishan, while she's full pregnant, a month or two, he starts pushing. A month or two before she goes in labor. Let me clear that up. He starts pushing baby mama. They're going on interviews. She's doing radio interviews, podcast interviews on YouTube, and so on. Not only he does all these things while Krishan looks on watching, public joking, laughing about Krishan being a single parent and they told her, but you can tell this was something that he was trying to do to get under this girl's skin. Not only he came online several times saying he told her to get an abortion and calling her deadbeat, saying he would take that child and have Jade raise it, his first children's mother. He jokingly said these things all the time. And he's promoting Jade now. So I only can begin to imagine how this woman that's been through a traumatic experience and time in her life, now all of a sudden, when she gives birth to this child, which I'll speak on this as well one day, hopefully today, maybe not, but this lady was going through so many things while pregnant on camera. I can't begin to imagine all the emotions, the anger, the hurt, the betrayal, the rage she was feeling in that moment. Now, dealing with something that is so hurtful in the public, it is the worst feeling in the world. I've been there. You have to put on a brave face and keep pushing, even days you don't want to. It was time I wore shades. I wore shades in the daytime, in the nighttime. When nighttime rolled around and I was going somewhere in public, a football game, anywhere like that, I had my shades on because I didn't know when my emotions would get the best of me, or I didn't want to look people in the eyes at that moment so they could try to hold a conversation with me, telling me how sorry they are and, blah, blah, blah. Even though they were very nice, I couldn't handle it at that moment. It was too much for me. Now, she went through all of this on TV, on YouTube, okay? Also, seeing him gift her with a brand new car. And at this time, we always questioned whether or not it was still Krishan's money that he had a hold of, or was it just his money and he's just trying to make her jealous? Which we knew that's what he was doing anyways, but he succeeded. She went online a couple times, wrote on her Twitter as well, saying that she could buy her own car, she doesn't care, blah, blah, blah. But it seems to me, the more further she became, the more awoke her mind was. She went to church. The same pastor when she was a little girl, I guess she used to go to church all the time. He remembered her. She donated a large amount of money. She was crying. Now, once she delivered that baby, he was online joking, hashtag, I can't believe my baby has a booking name. I'll book an appointment with my baby, you guys, so you can see him. That's what I'll do. It was the funniest thing that she made a Instagram for the baby. And he reached over 1 million followers within a few days. That's amazing. But I know how he is. And like I said, he's business savvy. So in his mind, when that reached 1,000 that quickly, bingo, his light bulb went off. Pockets running low. He don't have Cristiana tag along, have her do little shows, put her on camera real quick so people can tune in and want to see. Now he looks at his baby as, to me personally, allegedly, another meal ticket added on. This could possibly work in my favor. So he flies out where Krishan was, her hometown in Baltimore, and sees the baby. All of a sudden, he went from ranting and raging online daily, one time all day, to now he disappears from online. And now when we see him resurface, Krishan posts a picture of him loving and holding on the baby, even a small video as well. So Jaden was upset. She said a few things on camera, but I'll go on Jaden later. We're just speaking on Cristiana now. Mind you, he didn't want anything to do with her while she was pregnant. He humiliated her. He said some hurtful things. He said some very hurtful things that hit below the belt, as well as shown her how he truly felt. He showed his true colors at that moment she needed him the most. Pay attention to how people move. When you finally need someone and they're not there for you, that's who they really are. They're exposing their true colors. And that's up to you whether you choose to move forward with them or you move on. Either or, be mindful of that and put that in the back of your mind as a mental note. But now, she allowed him to come see the baby, and I was understanding that because this is her first child. She wants her child to see his father. She wants him to have that relationship. She's came from a broken home. She stated that severally, as well as on so many different interviews. So she knows what it's like to not have the parents with a straight mind in the house together, co-parenting. But she did not want that for her child. And I can see her energy completely shift from over the top to down. Her temperament was low. She went into mommy mode. And it was amazing to see her doing what she's supposed to do and loving on her child like she should. In the back of my mind, I'm not going to hold you up. I was thinking like, wow, I wish she would have got on birth control so she could have been with a man she truly loves and loved her and carry his child. I'll encourage anyone, to try to hold out long as you can until you meet that right partner, because at the end, no one is going to suffer but that baby. You'll be done moved on, but that baby is suffering from a broken household. And that impacts kids more than you know in this world, okay? Now, he came to see the baby. He went back to Jaden. People asked Cristiana a couple of things on Twitter. She reposted what they said, and she responded. She said her and Blue are working on them separately for a while, which, okay, she's coaching us into knowing that they're going to be getting back together soon. They're working on them apart because he's still with Jade. I don't know if he whispered in her ear and said, I done started her career. I'm going to push it. I'm going to go back home to her and do what I have to do. And you continue doing what you're doing and taking care of the baby and, making money on the side here and there. I'll be back. So now, she basically was saying that to me in so many words. One text can say everything if you're mindful and you read it. You don't have to read through it. Just pay attention. You see a video, you can pay attention to things. You see a text message, you can read it without reading through it. Now, she said also that he was back managing her. When I read that, as well as heard that on another YouTuber channel, it blew my mind, because not only she's tied herself to this man for the rest of her life, 18 years or whatever you want to call it, because they have a child together. They have to co-parent together. She also gave him, once again, control over her life. Basically, to me, I feel like when you're giving your career to someone and you're handing that over to them and you trust them to do right by you, that's your livelihood. It's not physically your life, but you might as well say you're a slave for this person. Basically, that's how I feel. And especially when it's someone like him. She said online several times he was taking her money. She's going under new management and so many more things. He went over there and whispered sweet nothings in her ear, and here we are today. That's why I read the trauma bonding definition. These two both come back to each other because of that tragedy. These two are attached to each other like a magnet because of something they both experienced. She should have healed slowly but for surely behind the scenes. I understand if she wanted to show her camera here and there, show herself here and there, or the baby. But putting it out there that you're working on you and you two are back together, that never works out well for you. That never ends good. It always ends bad. And when she said that, all I could think about is this man is a pimp. He's pimping her and he's pimping Jaden. And for the simple fact that they've been into it tough. He said some mean, devious things to this woman. And she now, all of a sudden, because he came to see the child, decides to look past that. Which sometimes you have to look past certain things when you have a silly, ignorant mother of your child or child's father. Because you have to always put your child first and put aside what you're feeling in order to engage in a healthy co-parenting relationship with them. Don't think about your emotional needs and situation. Put it aside and do what's best for your child. Because no matter what, your child should come first. But my final thoughts on this whole thing is Chrisean Rock needs someone that's older around her, that's nurturing, that's loving. I can tell she seems like a hothead pretty much as well, that it's hard to, especially from someone close to her age, reach her and tell her something when her mind is made up. When her mind is fully made up, she's not going to allow anyone to change that for her. Now, she also was upset, went through so much hurt, went through so much trauma as well. So now we have trauma on top of trauma that she's trying to deal with. This guy she was with, he traumatized her again. So whatever childhood memories or feelings she had from that experience that she tried to move forward from, he's bothered that energy. He added something on to something terrible that happened in her life. So now she feels like she needs him. She feels like she's made it to this point because of him. Even though back on a TV show, when they were going back and forth, and he said he made her, she said, all I did was show up. Now, he said, you can't put your hands on people, they go back and forth. And she finally busts him out. She says, you started this. I never started this. I didn't put my hands on people. We were in the basement and you put your hands on me. And he tried to say, just like a typical narc, you know, and I hate to throw that word around, but if you follow Blueface and her, he's one. He's a master manipulator. That's one thing about these people you have to be careful about. He never takes accountability for anything. He never says sorry. Now, she allowed him to do what he's doing. And in that little audio that they showed us on YouTube, she also said that he put his hands on her and he pulled her back and he told her, you're not going anywhere. I made you. You leave when I tell you to leave. And he attacked her, allegedly. And he also tried to brainwash her because he was on camera and this was a part of their little TV show. I didn't do that to you. We were wrestling. Man, you're going too far. We were just wrestling. That didn't happen. Manipulation. He's making her think what she saw and what she went through is not real. You have to be careful of those kind of people. They are the scariest and the worst. When she walked away from him, he tried to ruin her career. He tried to tag her. He tried to bring her down, drag her. My bad. Not tag, drag. But someone that has worked to come so far, someone that was on camera, intoxicated continuously, but people continue to still love and support her. People continue to pray for her, want what's best for her, and push her to be the better her and stay away from him. Now, you have your true Christian rock fans that genuinely like her and feel bad for her. And you also have her fans based off of drama. Now, those are the people that like when she does things that spiral out of control, that makes them either feel good about their life or they just like to attract darkness. And that is who she is. Now, we also have her fans from him. The people that like both of them. The people that are his true fans that came over and now they're liking her and accepting her because of him. You always have to be mindful when you do things, okay? She announced it to the world immediately after spending time with him when he came to see their son, that they were back in business together. It seemed like she had everything going for her, stacks of money, doing her own thing. When she was away from him, it seemed like when her energy was right, she was good. Whether she was breaking down behind closed doors, her hormones was jumping all over the place, she was pregnant, she handled it a majority of the time with grace and class, and I was proud of her. Because being dragged by millions of people and you don't know them, that has to be the worst experience ever. Now, when she said that, only thing I could do is think that this girl has trauma bonded herself to this man and they have created a soul tie that should never be created with two people unless they're married. Because when you're engaging with someone, you're exchanging energy, souls. That's why it's called soul tie. Now, I would tell Christian to continue to go forward. I think she made a silly, bogus move. I think the thing for her is for her son, and she's not realizing that. This is bigger than her now. She has to keep her son in mind and his future as well, because Blueface looks as though he was spending money like it wasn't no tomorrow. And it seems like he was in control of all the money like a pimp would be. And for her to go back to that, and I'm going to say this, sometimes it takes us to go back several times into a situation to step into our greatness, to know who we truly are, or that's not for us. I've done that before as a woman. You stepped in the same situation again, expecting a different result, expecting this whole situation to work its way out. Maybe it was me, maybe something I did, or I talked to them. They said they would fix that. Let me see how this goes. You're repeating the same endless cycle. Sometimes people are too old to be stuck in their ways, or their head is too big, especially when people pump it up. They after a while lose sight of what's right and what's wrong, because everyone encourages that wrong when they never hold them accountable for what they do. And that seems like everything that went on with Blue. Now, she's tying herself back to this man as well as her child. I don't think this will be good for her emotionally and for her child eventually, mentally. This is a toxic relationship that she should have received therapy after. She needs to heal not only childhood traumas, or her traumas that she's experienced with this man on and off camera that we absolutely know nothing about. Excuse me. So that is one thing that I would think is a bad move on her part, business-wise and physically, because they fought. For her mental, because she needs that there to take care of her child now. She has another life depending on her. All the way around. But sometimes, like I said, it takes another time to go back to realize that this relationship has filled its purpose, has came to an end. It's time to put it aside and go forward next chapter. So I'm hopeful. I really am, that after this plays out, because she wants that family. I don't care what no one says. She wants her son to grow up loved on with his dad. She wants this child to feel something that she's never had. Not to mention, no broken home. Who wants to raise a child into a broken home? That's not a good thing. It's hard and it's stressful. And especially when you have a juvenile child's mother or father of the child. Which I'm grateful that I've never had to experience that. But just because I haven't, that doesn't mean other women out there have not experienced this as well, okay? So now, excuse me, I have to drink something. My thoughts would be for her to continue to stay prayed up, go forward, keep her baby in mind. And after this situation plays out, if she can tell within 2 weeks, that time frame, that this is not going to work out, he's not who he needs to be for her and that child, she needs to walk away peacefully. Not traumatic, not on camera, over the top. It's not for everybody. Just like now, when she posts things, when they contain to him and her doing business together, anything about them, she should leave that private for now. She should leave a question mark on that. You may be in the spotlight, but everybody does not need to know your personal life like that, especially when they're picking it apart. I'll keep my head up and I'll keep her in my prayers. I wish her nothing but the best for her bundle of joy. I hope Blueface steps up and not only continues to be the father he needs to be for Jaden kids, but for this little young baby as well. All children deserve a parent in their life, whether it's a co-parent situation, whether it's trying to make it work in one household, two parents together. Because sometimes you can come back together. If that person is truly trying to change, it can work. It's a great possibility. But they have to be willing to change. Or both of you have something you need to change as well. If nothing changes, my best wishes to you to keep going forward and doing what's best for you. I am Ashley D. Please leave your opinion down below, what you think about this situation, and do you think this is a time where she needs to see one more chance, give it one more chance, go through this one more time to see that this is no longer a situation that she needs to continue in? Let me know what you think down below, and I'll be speaking with each and every one of you soon. Take care. Bye.